People, Deluded, I'm back again. I got DJB, Kenny Ken, Aaron in the building. I have to apologize for my lateness. Life has had me by the bollocks, but I've got the lads here. We lot saying, man.
All good.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, man. Cheers for having me on, brother. I'm all good, man.
It's
pleasure to be here, DG, bro.
Appreciate you lot, man. The first thing I want to ask you lot off the bat straight away, would you lot sell Gabriel Magalhaes for 100 mil, or do you think Arsenal would sell him for 100 mil? Because that seems to be the rumours.
I don't know. Do you know what? I personally wouldn't, yeah. And I know there's going to be counter arguments, right? Because you look at maybe what Liverpool sort of done with a Coutinho, and I know that was a little while ago, but they sold him, you know, and they brought in Alisson and a Van Dijk. So I get it, sort of, you know, the money could be made good elsewhere. You know, we've got a big summer coming up, a massive summer where we need to make a lot of signings and a lot of good signings, a lot that have to hit the ground running as well. But on the flip side of that as well, is if Arsenal was to go down that avenue, I'm not going to lie, I don't actually trust this setup. We don't know what Berta's going to come and do yet. Yes, he's got a CV, but we don't know how him and Arteta are going to work together. I don't trust that we'd sell Gabriel Magalhaes at this current moment in time and get an adequate replacement for him, as well as then, you know, spend it on the necessary places, you know. And it also is, it's one of them sort of things of why I compare it to the Liverpool and Coutinho thing. Like with that, you know, that was just sort of one player. I think when you sell Gabriel Magalhaes, which is why I wouldn't personally for 100 million, you disrupt two players because it's a partnership, that centre back. You know, you don't really get that a lot across the pitch. You know, that them two centre backs is a real sort of bond, and they've had one. You know, I think if you let one go, the other one ain't as good, and we've seen that when Saliba hasn't been there. You know, and that injury a couple of years ago, and even sort of this season, and when Gabriel's been out. They're both not as good as they are when they're together. So personally, for me, 100 million, I'd be sort of, if it's not enough for me, you know. I mean, when you're talking 150 million now, it's a different sort of kettle of fish. That's a lot of money. But I think for 100 million, you know, for a partnership, you'd like to hope sign new contracts and you could keep for a long time. It's not enough for me. I'd keep that partnership there. But obviously, I know there's also another little awful caveat to that, and that is they both got 2 years left on their deal. So, you know, I'm sure we'll get into that, but
Definitely.
Yes, it's a big ifs and buts, isn't it, mate?
What's the rest of you lot saying in relation to that then?
Well, I think personally, he's one of the players that we definitely need to try and keep hold of. And if we can make money from other players in the team, I think they would be the better option. When you think this club has gone without a title for so many years, and this manager is desperate to win silverware, he's probably one of the players that's going to be key going forward to whatever new signings come in. For me, I can see both sides. 100 million. I believe he's about 27, approaching his 28th birthday, which ain't really old for a centre-back, to be honest. You know, centre-backs, you know, if they look after themselves, they can sort of go on well into their 30s and still do a job. So he's still got plenty left in him. I think if Saliba was an absolute concrete, definite yes, I'd probably have a little consideration of trying to get more money for Gabriel. But because we don't quite know what way Saliba is leading, we could end up selling Gabriel, which is dangerous, and then Saliba goes out the door as well. Now, this is a club that struggles to get top quality players over the years. So if we let him go and then we find ourselves losing Saliba, that's a partnership you're not going to be able to fill for £100 million plus. You know, you're talking a lot of money. And when you think that we need to strengthen in other areas, that's money that we're not going to have to replace these two guys. So for me, I think you've got to ignore that 100 mil. I think you've got to stay ruthless on this one. Yeah. I would keep Gabriel. I'd probably build defensive and midfield players around him. And to make a statement, I'd even make him captain next season.
That's a big shout, stripping Odegaard.
Yeah, I would strip Odegaard. I mean, to me, if I was given the choice, I'd take money for Odegaard, Martinelli, and Trossard, and keep Gabriel at the club, and make Gabriel captain. And because he's the one player that's as close to Tony Adams as in passion, the will to win, a leader, as we're going to get. So, no, I mean, for me, we can keep him. I can see both sides. I can see if Berta comes in and looks at it and goes, right, he's got 2 years left on his deal. He's 27, 28. If we can cash him in on him now, I can see that. It's going to be a tricky couple of seasons for Arsenal Football Club, because you've
100%.
got players whose contracts are running out, and we don't want to be in a Trent Alexander situation where this guy goes for nothing. However, I would consider other options before I even consider Gabriel going out the door. So that's where I'm at with that, DG, to be honest with you.
I hear that. Kenny?
I think what's happened is we've got a trade-off now, isn't it? I always suspected that if we were going to spend big money ever again, i.e. people talking about £300 million, there has to be we have to sacrifice one of our players. The player I had in mind was the other Gabriel, Martinelli. But what I suspect is that for the Saudis to make that offer, they would have contacted the player in before. They would have contacted representatives. Representatives would have gone to the player. They would have asked the player, if you're offered X, Y, and Z, would you be willing to come? And the player would have said, yes, I will go. I will go and test myself. I will go and earn this money. So in modern football, when big offers are made for players or leaks are made, don't be surprised if the players in on it and the players is encouraging these people.
Smoke and mirrors.
Let's just not forget what happened with Trossard. I bet my house on the fact that Trossard selling out the Saudis this summer just gone. Hence the fact that the Saudis were trying to make an 11-hour bid. That hasn't gone away. And I think that's the situation. The Saudis are offering some crazy, crazy money. And you've seen players, who are probably earning about 30 or 40 grand a year. I'm not saying Gabriel's earning that money, but I'm assuming he's not earning anything under that, anything over 100 grand. For the Saudis to make that massive, massive bid, they would have had to make an offer of north of £400,000 a week, if not in £500,000 a week.
Crazy money.
A Brazilian international playing in a Premiership with all that experience. Don't be surprised if the player's encouraged it himself. I'm not trying to get people to turn against the player, but no modern football.
He's been linked with Saudi before, Gabriel Magalhaes. Wasn't he on the bench at the start of the season 1 year?
No, it was start of next season. He had a falling out with the manager.
Yeah.
And the manager, he had to make an apology in front of a public apology for him to play again because the manager got tough with him. I don't know what happened at pre-season, but there was a genuine falling out. But that seems to have manifested itself. He's turned into a top centre-back. But the way I look at it right now is £100 million is £100 million. And no club, especially for a defender, can, in my opinion, look at that and say, no, we're turning it down, come back with a better offer. It's a defender for the end of the day. But he is, all intents and purposes, a better performer than Saliba. Saliba is the one with the most potential, but the better performer is Gabriel Magalhaes. And these are the type of players you want to build a side around. But the problem is, if you want your Goikarezes, if you want your midfielders and you want your left wingers, sacrifice have to be made. But, fans need to accept that the selling fringe players like your Balligans, selling your Nketiahs, selling your Smith Rowes, putting Nelson out alone, it isn't enough. They don't balance the books. It's transfers like that balance the books and enables you to spend big money. It's happened in the last 50 years of transfer activity, and it will happen for the next 50 years afterwards, especially if you're a club like Arsenal who always wants to balance the books. I don't want him to go. But £100 million is £100 million, and let's be honest, and let's get with a program and take the scales out of our eyes and take the love out of our eyes. And let's just remember, Saudis don't make offers to players who are unwilling to go there. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Don't you think as well, though, Kenny, it all sort of hinges on that contract. And it's almost like a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. And by that, I mean, if you keep him and reject the 100 million, you've got a phenomenal partnership. He signs a new deal. Yeah, fantastic. You know, that's the bedrock of our defence. If you don't accept the 100 million, he goes for, let's just say next season he's there. You get 50 million, didn't you? You get 20 million. It's all hinges on this contract, doesn't it?
Really? It definitely. But the fact is that the guy, if he would have seen the figures being offered, he would have gone back to Arsenal and said, look, hang on here. I want a bit of a pay rise. Arsenal think, okay, we'll think about it. But whatever the Saudis are offering him, Arsenal will not be able to match that.
Yeah.
So Arsenal fans, clubs can dig their heels in, but at the end of the day, players hold most of the power. You know, the fact is that the club can't afford to give the player up for nothing, and the player can't afford to leave the club and reduce his sell-on fees and reduce his, like image rights. It's
who's going to buy to replace him as well, man? Like, how far does 100 million go?
It'll be hard to. It definitely is going to be hard to replace him
in terms of like quality as well.
I suspect that Arteta has already got a player in mind, but you're not going to have it. The chat is not going to have it. There's a reason why.
What are you going to say?
Riccardo Calafiori was signed. Riccardo Calafiori was not signed to come and play at left back. Yeah. I'm not saying that that's the right decision, but he's signed to play at centre back. So it's got to give. So knowing Arteta like I know him, if Gabriel Magalhaes goes for a song and Gabriel Magalhaes wants to go, then he will say, well, at the end of the day, I've got to play like Calafiori, who could play the left-footed centre back. Now you ain't gonna like what I say, but this isn't me talking. I'm trying to get in the head of the manager. I don't like. I'm trying to show empathy for the manager.
What does that do to Saliba, though? You know, if he's seeing his mate and partner go, and Arteta says, "Yeah, look, we're going to take this 100 million here. By the way, you're going to have Calafiori next year. Oh, by the way, don't be off put by Real Madrid, Bill. You know, if I was Bill Saliba now at 2 years left on my dildo can with Real Madrid sniffing, and you're saying to me you've got to be partnered with Calafiori, I'm going to be like, all right, well, what's Real Madrid saying?
But if you was getting a train on Avanti West and get a train up to Liverpool, the same sort of scenarios were being presented to Trent Alexander-Arnold. He hasn't clearly listened to him. The fact is, Real Madrid has turned his head. When a club like Real Madrid think you're good enough to play for them, no player that I know is going to say, nah, it's all right, I'll stay where I am. No matter how much they enjoy their football club. Real Madrid is a club. You know, they've got 16. They've got how many Champions Leagues they got? 16.
Yeah, 15.
And there's more coming. You know, there's always part of drama. If you have Real Madrid in your CV, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a pinnacle of football.
It's a pinnacle of football, man. You know, even if Real Madrid dump you like a bad habit, like they did with a few players that got over there,
Bale, Hazard, etc. They still won the Champions League, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. That's the way things are. When people say the Premiership is the best league in the world, well, have a look over at what's happening in Spain when Real Madrid and Barcelona come calling and tell me the Premiership is the best league in the world.
Oh yeah, but it's also down to the individual player when these Saudi clubs come calling as well. You know, they have to weigh up of quality of football or the money. Now, you know, as much as Gabriel might want to stay and play in the Premiership and see his contract out with Arsenal, you know, if he's got 400 grand a week, I mean, let's face it, there's not many clubs that's going to be able to compete with Saudi.
No club in this country can do it.
No club in this country will. So that's always going to be a pull, and it's good and bad with the Saudi clubs because, say, for instance, Gabriel Jesus, no club comes in for him. There's always a chance that we can offload him to a Saudi club for 25, 30 million and get something back on him. So
certainly hope so.
You have got a little sort of get out of jail card with the Saudi clubs. The opposite side of that is that they do turn heads of big players.
I'm very. I've got something controversial to say, and I shouldn't say it. It's wrong to say it.
Say it.
You look. Do you guys remember a player played for Chelsea called Oscar?
Yes.
When he went to China.
Went to China, yeah.
And you see the telephone numbers there. And how old was Oscar when he left? He was about 27, 28. Now, I'm not saying, but what I have seen with a lot of players, especially our players from South America, they do tend to be turned by big, mega money offers.
Yeah.
Because they grew up with nothing, didn't they? The vast majority of them have absolutely nothing.
That's one of the reasons why.
It's a job at the end of the day, man.
Yeah. Oscar left Chelsea when he was about to win. He was about to win the Premier League.
I'm sure Sunderland had a striker, G, and he was doing all right across the season, and he went to Saudi or Dubai and just left. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but you can't blame Gabriel. But I mean, the Calafiori thing. I mean, if you look at it from an Arsenal point of view and look at it the way this manager thinks, he's probably going to think, well, okay, he's not sort of in the league of Gabriel, but I believe I can get the best.
Might be one day, yeah.
And he's going to do a job.
That's what it is. That DJB.
That would be his line of thinking. The only problem I've got with that is, as I said, Saliba is still kind of a player that can easily be convinced and pulled away, especially if Real Madrid come calling. And not only that, PSG.
We all know he's going Real Madrid one day.
Yeah. He's going to go one day. So I mean, you know, we're trying to get a striker because that's where we've been lacking.
Yeah.
And our defence has been the solid part of our team. Now we're going to be robbing Peter to play Paul. We might get a decent striker in.
Yeah.
But then if we let the back four or the defensive part fall to pieces,
You've got to do
we're going to be
all
back
the other
to
stuff.
square one. So although our striker will be banging in 1-2 goals a game, we're going to be conceding as well. So it's a really, really different juggling act, and it's a tricky one. But I think this is going to be more down to the player rather than Arsenal Football Club. I think if Gabriel really wants the Saudi move for his future, I think it will be down to him. I don't think it'll be Arsenal wanting to sell him. I think it'll be merely down to him. And if he decides that, okay, 300, 400, 500,000 pound a week.
Imagine, it must be nice.
Can I?
You know, he's going to go. We ain't going to be able to replace him. There's no central defender around at the moment, apart from the obvious ones, that we're going to be able to replace him. Central defenders of his quality don't come round every season. You know, it's going to be. You know, Arsenal fans have got to get that out of their head that we can replace him.
We won't replace like for like quality, man. You got to remember Saliba, Gabriel, Magalhaes. What they are today, they wasn't like that when they joined the football club, especially Gabriel Magalhaes. It took a while, and I hear that. I understand that you need to do the rebuild thing, but for me personally, I know we haven't won anything, but I'm kind of in win now mode. I would like a centre back, whoever that is. I ain't got no names. That somewhat replicates the level of Gabriel Magalhaes, because like what you three are saying, I think Saliba's got the highest ceiling, but I think if either one of them left right now, I think it would be Magalhaes that would be the bigger loss, if I'm honest. He's like the big brother to Saliba. I think he's been better than him for the last 12, 18 months. How much of like seeing this Trent stuff go into Real Madrid on a free transfer, how much does that quote unquote scare you, especially where Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes and Saka are concerned, because they're contracted until 2027. Real Madrid have shown they'll wait. They won't necessarily try and bid for you this summer like this.
It's a footballing reality. That's the situation. It's a footballing reality. Players don't have to sign contracts. You know,
true.
Especially if you're a top player, clubs pray that, you know, when you get in the last year, that you help them out by signing a year's extension so they can have a big fee. No club, if you've got a top player and that player has image rights where he sells a lot of shirts, and he knows that the club will want him to sign an extension so they can make more money off the club and they can get the best years of his career. You're going to get an agent, whoever it is, a brother or a sister or a mum, as in the case of Lewis Skelly.
Big him up, big her up.
You say, hang on here, don't sign that contract. Don't sign that contract. Just wait. Wait to the big offer, because you sign early, you're not going to get what you really want. You're only going to get 150. But if you leave it to the last minute, you can get that 350. And then even if the clubs don't come for you, a bigger club and the biggest club in the world can get you for nothing and then offer you all the money. And that's how modern players are these days. That's why it happens at every club where club players do go into last year. Saka went into his last year.
He always seems to. His agent plays a blinder, if I'm honest. Shout out Saka's agent. Every 18 months, we're having this conversation with Bukayo.
Yeah. So if you're an agent,
great stuff.
If you're an agent, that's exactly how you play it now. Because at the end of the day, clubs thrive on transfer fees. They thrive in it. They need it. That's how they survive. But the club also don't want to upset fans. So if you don't upset the fans, you don't sell your big players. Trust me, every player's up for sale. I promise you, every player's
for the right price, 1,000,000%. Everyone's got a price. Unfortunately, football's a business. Unfortunately,
you know the Cronkies. You think they give them monkeys? If someone offered them a big player for one of their players, he's a goner. But they're scared that people like us won't have it. That's why they hold it down. Everyone's for sale in football. The sooner football fans realise it, the better.
Yeah, Ken, do you know what as well?
Go on. I just want to show you something. What the Cronkies
go on, jump on.
This is what the Cronkies actually care about. We're expanding our stadium. But go on, Aaron, man.
Mate, but that's what I'm saying. Like, let's just go with this stadium thing for a minute. Yeah, we were told in 2004, 2003, when the plans for the Emirates were being sort of done, that we're going to be moving into this stadium in 2006 to compete with the Bayerns and the best. And we didn't. We left Highbury, where we won 13 league titles, numerous FA Cups, where we actually challenged for Europe's competitions with a team that at one stage or not, you could say was probably the best team in the world. We could, I think that's fair to say, between 2002 and 2004, Arsenal probably did have one of the best teams in the world. And then we moved to the Emirates Stadium. We've got a few FA Cups to show for it. And Mikel Arteta will say a few charity shields as well, which is absolute nonsense. You know what I mean? What we're doing there. This is all well and good. Do you know what? Yeah, that's fine. If you want to upgrade the stadium, be my guest. But
Beyonce concerts are pending, man.
Second, I know. Do you know what I mean? But not at the detriment of this squad. Sort the squad out first before you do all of this. Do you know what I mean? If it costs 200 million, 500 million, I don't care. Spend it on the squad. If that upgrade's going to cost 200 million, put it in the transfer fund this season. And then when you've got a winning team, then you can talk about upgrading the stadium. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't care about the stadium. Do you know what I mean? It's fine. I'll go there every week. I'll sit in my seat. I don't care whether it's a plastic seat, a little foam seat, whether the red on it's slightly burning out. I don't care. I look at the pitch the whole time. And what I'm seeing at the minute, boys, it just ain't good enough. We all go to the games. It's not good enough. It burns your eyes. That's what if you're sat there.
Really?
Well, you do. I've got little Emirates Stadium survival pack. Do you know what I mean? I've got a little neck brace. Like Kenny's got his pillow. Do you know what I mean? I've got a travel connect board just in case I get bored.
Some pajamas here. I've got some pajamas, Arsenal pajamas, by the way.
He's going in his Arsenal gown. Do you know what I mean? And that's how relaxed and comfortable he is. He's getting ready to catch some Zeds there. It's not good there. What you're watching is, you know what I mean? It puts you to bed.
I mean, the stadium extension worries me. I mean, stations and around the ground can't cope now with the fans that go there. You get more fans in the stadium. I mean, you got to sort out the transport links and everything else before you extend the stadium on a fan's point of view, because it's an absolute nightmare and it always has been. There's nowhere to park. The stations are always clobbered up. So you get more fans into that stadium, it's just going to make life hell. But getting back to on the pitch, I mean, money has to be spent to improve this squad. I mean, we've got too many bang average players at this football club. Who would you say? Sorry to cut you, DJB, but who would you say is average? What, bang average?
Yeah.
Oh, Trossard.
Yeah.
Marino, Calafiori, Zinchenko.
Yeah.
This season, Martinelli.
Yeah, well, a lot of seasons better yet.
It's going on. Gabby Jesus, he's been bang average, I think, since he came to the club. Apart from one or two flash in the pans and that, I think he's not really been. His output has not been good enough on a consistent basis. I mean, I still haven't seen, because he's had such a good defence in front of him. I'm still like that with David Raya, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's nasty, man.
No, I think he's a top keeper. But I've not seen him fully stretched yet. Until I do, And until I do, I've got to make my mind up. I wouldn't say he's bang average as a goalkeeper, but there's still a lot of question marks over him. I've seen him make some bad mistakes that's cost us.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, there is. I would say that there is the majority of players at this football club, other than the Gabriel, Saliba, Timber. I suppose you can put Rice in that equation once the
more defensive-minded players.
The manager sorts out his best position, and that's down to the manager with Rice. I don't think that's more on Rice. I think that's down to the manager. But once, I think you can name 5 players really that I would class as Arsenal players. The rest, I think we need to move on. So there's a lot of signings and there's a lot of money needs to be spent at this club. And then it comes back to whether you can trust the manager to get the best out of the players that come in. Because on the evidence so far, we haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's true. But what it is, guys, though? I know like Aaron, and Lee talks about, about smashing up the Emirates to, be on a par with all these clubs. No, there's nothing wrong with saying it, but they need to remember and go back to the zeitgeist of '98. Because DJB, you remember this? Yeah. Not once were we told that we were moving we need a new stadium to compete with people on compete with the big teams of the field. We were told that the reason why we wanted to move to a new stadium is because our 38,000 at the time at Highbury, they were comparing it to Man United's 61,000, which was going to go up to 75,000.
Yeah.
And basically what they were saying is that we were losing out on revenue. So the only reason why we moved to the Emirates Stadium was nothing to do with competing on the pitch. It was always about
the money thing. We saw the vision and there was money to be made.
Yeah, business. And to be honest, they're right. It is about business. As I say, you go to an Arsenal home game and I beseech you, don't go home for at least a couple of an hour and a half. Give it a couple of an hour and a half, and then go into like the armory shop. I promise you,
if you queue up for that line, crazy.
You'd be shocked that the amount of business that turns over after.
It's harder to get in the stadium, isn't it? It's easier to get in the stadium than it is the armory.
Trust me. There's a DJ in there during the match days.
Yeah.
He's playing. He's got all like his hands are like basically like weapons, and he's just going boom, 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 playing all that music.
So you feel good about getting robbed, man.
Music. Trust me, that's why Arsenal always print money. They will like a great team. They'll like a successful manager, but at the end of the day, what if a player is for sale, then a player's up for sale. They'll sell Saka if someone offered them.
God forbid.
God
forbid.
Yeah,
that's how football is. It's business.
Yeah. There's no one, especially with Arsenal Football Club. I mean, you've seen it over the years. I mean, look at the players that have gone out of this club. I mean, you can name sort of 2 or 3: Alexis Sanchez, Van Persie. All these players that went out the club. I mean, this club is built on, unfortunately, letting players go. But the only thing is what we have done in the past, we've let players go at bargain bucket prices. Hopefully with this new man coming in, he might look at it and go, well, you know what, Gabriel, 100 million, and we've got centre-backs at the club. It could be a reality that he could actually go. So, and this is what you got to face up to. And as for Saka, he's star boy, and he's a product of he is the face of Arsenal, isn't he? He's the pin-up boy. He is Arsenal Football Club at the moment. But wow, I mean, if an offer come into him, it's true what Kenny says. You just got to face it that players do go out the door, and then it's down to the people in the right place to bring replacements in, and it's something this manager's not done. If you look at his tenure at Arsenal, he hasn't really signed top quality replacements for players, and he hasn't really signed top quality backup for players, and that's the worrying bit for me. If top players do leave the club, with this man in place, you're not guaranteed that you're going to get adequate replacements. You know?
DJB, that's why I said as well, in the opening bit when I started saying about the Gabriel thing, that's one of the first things I said.
One love for the super chat, but go on, Aaron.
It's about the it's just about the way we're going to spend it. Do you know what I mean? I don't trust this setup to go out there and get someone of Gabriel's even a slight drop off. I don't trust them to go and do it. Why? Because we've seen it over numerous years when we've sold good players. We don't usually get equal or better. There's usually a drop off, and there's not just a drop off. There's usually a significant drop off, and that's the worrying thing. You know, and there's examples everywhere.
No, and Aaron, it's a good point you've made, because over the years now we are now seeing the rebuild come into effect. Because we've not replaced certain players as they've gone out the door, it's now a big influx of players that we need in the team to make the team solid. I mean, we've never really replaced Aubameyang, so there's your striker that we've never replaced. You know, and now it's not just one or two players that we need to tweak. I still think we need sort of 6, maybe 7 players to make this club a real threat.
Minimum.
We ain't going to get 6 or 7 players. It looks like we're going to blow most of our budget on a striker, one player.
I hope not, because the money has to stretch. For me, I think we need 4 players, man. I think we need a striker, a left mid, a partner for Rice, and I actually think we need a left back now, you know, to be fair.
Well, yeah, 100% we do, because, you know,
shout out Lewis Kelly and Calafuri, but we need one.
He's young. You know, who knows? For all we know, that probably isn't his position.
Yeah, he could go back into midfield.
Yeah, that could be the position he needs to occupy, but that's the whole situation, is that this panel is probably one of the few panels I've been on where they're seeing a bigger picture in terms of like what's needed to get us to challenge.
Put together good panels, man. Come on.
What I'm trying to say is that the buzzword always seems to think, right, that if we get a striker, everything's going to be all right in the end. It does. No. It does.
It plays a part, but there's a lot more we need to do, man.
The thing about it is you've got to remember one thing. If you want to go down that road of praising Mikel Arteta and say that he got close to winning the league, then last season we got 90-something goals. Mikel Arteta's formation, his system, way of playing does not lend itself to a striker. So you can get your striker, but as long as this man's still in the club and he's playing the way he's playing, that striker will be lucky if he gets 15 goals a season.
He needs to evolve the system 100%.
Goals a season. No way. In fact, Mikel Arteta will be happy with the 15 goals a season, because he hope that Saka, whoever plays on the left-hand side, and a couple of midfielders get double figures.
The thing is, though, with that, Ken, is like you're sort of almost going on like a Liverpool-esque formula, aren't you, with the Mane, Salah and Firmino. The only problem is Saka ain't putting up the numbers that Salah is. Martinelli ain't putting up even a tenth of what Mane
forget
was.
About that.
And the striker, do you know what I mean? We're miles off that.
Yeah, but there's a big but. He thinks he can get away with it because he got 91 goals last season, and most of the season before he got double figures for Martinelli, Saka, and Odegaard. So that's how he's been able to get away with it. But this season, he's going to say, "Oh, I wasn't able to do that because I had injuries." But the game's up when your top goal scorer is 9 goals and he's not playing to the end of the season. Where's Martinelli's goals? Where's Trossard's, gluttony of goals? You know what I mean?
Odegaard's. They've all dried up. Well. They've all dried up. The thing is, he's banked on it. He's put his cards out there. You know what I mean? And he's basically gone, right, Odegaard, we need you to get 10 assists and say even at least 8 goals, 10 and 10 minimum. That's what we need from you a season. Martinelli, try and give us 15 goals and 10 assists or 8 assists. Saka, we need you to give us, probably closer to 20s and then maybe 15 assists. Yeah. And then Havertz, we need you to do this. And every single person has been far off it. Now, you can't blame Saka because he's got his injury, and he was actually phenomenal. And his goal rate was great before that. So we can't knock Saka. He's been fantastic. And he's been fantastic since he's put an Arsenal shirt on. Let's just get that
100%,
sorted. Absolutely right. But he's give his cards out to too many players and bankers. And I'll tell you what, I'll give an example of the wage structure in this as well. Martinelli was on 35 when he signed, He had one good season under Emery. doubled it to 70. I think that's absolutely fair. One good season under Arteta, they give him 180 grand. That's £105. And we haven't seen him since. So he's put all his eggs in that basket and it ain't done anything because in the last 18 months, Martinelli's regressed massively. Same with Odegaard. He came in on 100, 120. We give him 240 for one good season. What's he done in the last 18 months? Absolutely nothing. Everyone says, oh, he's injured. He was injured for about a month and a half, 2 months in that whole time. He's regressed massively. He's fallen off a cliff. These are two players that are hitting double figures in that one season. In the 2 seasons, they ain't even got the same figures of that season. So you can't say he ain't regressed. They have. And even on the eye, you know, they just simply have. They're like, oh, yeah, but I'll tell you what, I'm fed up with this one with Odegaard. Saka's lost his mate. You know, he's lost his mate in Saka. Well, I might have said this last time. I'll tell you what, Thierry Henry and Ashley Cole didn't really cry when Robert Pires was injured in 02. No, they won the league. I'll tell you what, Freddie Ljungberg, when they went to Old Trafford and we won 1-0, didn't cry when Dennis Bergkamp, Henry and Pires were injured. We just won. No, so there's just all excuse after excuse after excuse. Yeah. The point is the fact that from that team, we had a squad that were capable with the mentality up top of winning the league, even without all the quality that
there was reliability in our away from
don't have it here.
And another thing, no, go on, Aaron. I'll make you right. Sorry about him, but I mean, it's just you made some good points. But one of the things I would say as well with this manager, he's obsessed by Kai Havertz.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be. He's on 200 odd grand. Like you're gonna have to be now.
280.
He's on 200 odd grand, and he's obsessed by him. And I keep saying it when he's picking a striker. If he has a big say in what striker, and he's gonna have a say. You know, people say about Berta. Berta's going to be a big advisory, and he's going to be a slight thorn in his side. But overall, the manager wants the players. He's the manager that kind of sort of says, he's the man I want. He's the man I want. And I still think that whoever he brings in, he's going to look to justify him signing Kai Havertz. I think he'll want to play him regularly. I think Kai Havertz I still think Kai Havertz is going to get plenty of games, no matter what striker comes in. And we all know that Kai Havertz is not the man for this football club going forward. He ain't going to score you 20 goals plus. You know,
it's a rotationary option at best. Like we're at with Kai. We unfortunately shouldn't have bought him. We put him on big money. If we go and get a winger striker in the centre mid, Arteta did say even Kai Havertz could play out wide. We've kind of shot ourselves. So we're gonna have to utilize Kai. And I think the damning thing, to be fair to Kai, he's a lot more consistent than a 1 year, excluding Wanjeri and Saka. So that tells me everything. Like we need a forward. I know I put a comment up about 2 strikers. Someone wants 2 strikers. I think it's a fallacy if you think we're getting 2 strikers, a winger, having Kai Havertz and all the other options. Personally,
I'd love to see, but go on.
I'd love it, but I can't see it.
Yeah, we've the thing is again we've handcuffed ourselves in the market in terms of wages. Yeah, and the point I'm going to make is this: do you remember in 2019 when Arteta came here? Yeah. And, you know, he had to deal with the Ozil 350. Why was it difficult to get rid of Mesut Ozil? Because he was on so much money. Why was it difficult to get rid of Mustafi, Bellerin, Socrates, Kolasinac? Why was it difficult to get them? Because they were on way too much money a week for the quality that they were producing on the field. So we were stuck with him. We were ripping up contracts left, right and centre. That's what I see with this squad now. Kai Havertz, 280 grand a week. We're stuck with him. Gabriel Jesus, who ain't fit until November, by the way. November. He's going to be match fit in December. By that time, he'll have 18 months year left on his deal. Do you know how much he takes home a week? 265k. Between them is 550. Do you know how much from this day now that we've still got to pay them 2 players alone if they see out the remainders of their contracts? £80 million. £80 million if they stay here. And of course, they're going to stay here. Who's going to pay them? We've just got to pray that Saudi club comes in for them. But this is all across the board. Look down at Martin Odegaard, underperforming, 240k. If a new manager came in, how's he going to get rid of Kai Havertz? How's he going to get rid of Jesus? How's he going to get rid of Martin Odegaard if we don't want him on 240k? What about Gabriel Martinelli, who ain't worth 180k? We're going to have to sell them for low fees because we're going to have to compensate for the wages. What about Zinchenko? Why do you reckon Arteta's binned him off the last 18 months, but he's still here? Why? Because he's on 150k and ain't worth anywhere near it. Mikel Merino, who was on about 30, 40k at Sociedad, we've given him 130. He's 29 years old. We're stuck with him. Calafiori, young lad, promising, could come up 120k. If it don't work out, we're stuck with him. We're selling him for a reduced fee. Tomiyasu, we give him a new contract last year, 100k, played 6 minutes this year. We're finished.
Love Tommy, but
and you're wondering why we're
go.
handcuffing ourselves in. This is all under Arteta, all of these deals and all of these contracts. So there's no way of saying, oh, yeah, but you know this, but you know that. And I see Aaron, you're saying in the chat, it's moving like his money. Of course, it ain't my money, but the fact is it's my club, and this is handcuffing us in the transfer market. Your club, all of these deals are messing up your team. This is why we're not trying to.
Because we're righting these wrongs as well, and like we're kind of gone back into it now.
And on top of that, the players that he wants to sign are going to come in on big money, along with the players.
Williams is on 200 grand if he wants him.
You know. I mean, if he signs a project like Sesko, if he gets Sesko in the door, he's not going to be on small wages. He's going to come. He's going to be on big wages. So potentially, you've got a Sesko which might not hit the ground running. That might end up like a Kai Havertz. So then you've got another addition on huge wages, and it's just a big merry-go-round. That's why a lot of players have got to be sold in the summer. We need to get rid of at least 4 or 5 players. And as Kenny was alighting to, it's going to be painful. You might see a big name go out the door.
It's the only way. It's the only way you could do that, whether clubs like it or not. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about names, and we got lucky that the French wanted Balogun. Crystal Palace wanted a non-scoring centre forward in Eddie Nketiah, and Fulham, for Smith Rowe would be worth a punt. Now Smith Rowe's a good player. A lot of people had big hopes for him, but he was nowhere near our team. We got a situation as that you can't wait for someone to take Shevchenko off your hands. You can't wait for someone to take Tomiyasu off your hands, or players like Jace off your hands. It's not going to happen. And that's why to pay these big players, we're sadly going to be forced to make sacrifices in a way that we shouldn't have to do that. Way Man City never had to do it, and Chelsea never had to do it. But we are this club that is self-sustaining. And because we're a self-sustaining club, this is what we're going to have to, endure. And the thing about it as well is if you win trophies together, it's easy to keep players. It's easy for them to think, yeah, I'll wait. But because they're not winning things, then the next thing that's on their minds is money. Exactly. People may think money before the salaries. All right, say money before the salaries, but someone like Gabriel Magalhaes, he will go. That's a massive salary he's on. But someone like Saliba, you're not saying no to Real Madrid. You're just not. No,
definitely not.
Well, we like he's not.
No, it's right, Kenny. But the thing is, it all comes down to the club as a whole. If the club's winning trophies and the manager got his ball in order, and we'd have won the Premiership this year, these wages would never have even entered people's heads. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If you've got Kai Havertz banging 15, 20 goals a season, and you've got the captain chipping in, and it's all flowing, and we're 12 points clear going into April. We're not even considering wages. But because these things that are happening now pretty much on a regular basis, this season we're not going to. It's highly unlikely we're going to get a trophy. Last season, trophy list. Season before, trophy list. Fans now are thinking, they're looking into deeper things. They're thinking, hang on a minute, I'm going over there and paying all this. I've got a season ticket.
The manager got a new deal as well.
I've got a season ticket that I'm having to pay more money for, and I'm watching a defensive midfield player play as a striker.
Yeah, but
big money.
You've got to remember one thing. You've got
to look at the facts.
You remember you and Jez? We did a show on Arsenal's best ever squad. Yeah. And one guy called Richie99 asked us, would we include any players out of the Emirates era? And we couldn't. But this is a different story. A lot of Arsenal fans are talking about what they fear is going to happen. Well, we've already seen it already.
Yeah.
Let's not forget the Emirates era. And even if you want to go in the last few years at Highbury, it was only ever situation where we were losing players because we weren't winning anything.
Mm.
You know, even you think about the Emirates era, the players that we knew were going to leave: Fabregas, Hleb,
Always flirting with Barcelona.
Always. You knew that was happening.
Those sort of players, Nasri, all those sort of big players who are useful to us, very, very good footballers. They all couldn't wait to leave the door because
Sanga.
they knew they
Well,
were
he went on a free.
where they went.
This French defender doesn't.
It didn't quite happen for Adebayor as much as we thought it will, because I know he had a falling out of Mancini. But Hleb won things at Barca. Van Persie won the league at Man United. Nasri won 2 titles at Man City. And Fabregas, not only did he win trophies at Barcelona, he won trophies at Chelsea.
Yeah, no, fact, mate.
Alex Song as well. Alex Song went,
Barcelona.
Yeah.
So that, if you think about it, I'm not saying it's the right thing because we should be used to it, but this is the Emirates era in its end.
Can't break you because it's happened before.
Yeah, but a lot of people think, oh, how can it happen? Why would they leave Arsenal? We're on the verge of something big. Players don't wait around.
People leave anyways. Like Real Madrid is probably the only team that they get rid of you. You don't ever decide to leave them. It happens. Look at Liverpool. You know, I know we could sit here and talk about what their owners are doing and the age profile and whatnot, but their players have won everything at that club that's been to offer. Trent still wants to go to Real Madrid. This is just the evolution of life, and unfortunately, that would be what would hurt me somewhat with Saka and all the others. In that we haven't got over the line. There's nothing set in history.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, but if we won trophies, and Real Madrid came for Saka, come on.
Couldn't begrudge Saka for saying it's Real Madrid. Like it's Real Madrid.
Yeah. I couldn't tell Saka left Man United, didn't he? To go Real Madrid. It's his dream, and he left.
And he won everything.
3 leagues in a row and the Champions League on the table before he left.
Do you know what the thing is, though, Ken, as well, mate? Like, the reality is, if you fast forward a year's time, we are exactly where Liverpool are if we don't get these done. Bukayo Saka to the Mo Salahs, you know, the Salibas to the Van Dijks, and obviously, you know, a slight positional change, but you get where I'm going at with Trent and Gabriel. We're exactly there. That's why I sort of tread lightly a little bit with winding up my Liverpool mates about the scenario, because you know what I mean. In a year's time, it could be even worse for us. At least they've got a bit of that to do at the end of the season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, no one's even the manager. I mean, people going about Arteta, but I mean, you know, who's to say that he's not going to walk away? He's not going to have links to his home country and stuff like that. So it's all right being loyal to the manager. And it's all right saying about, oh, you believe in Arteta, etc., etc. But he has to win trophies. You know, you can't gloss this.
We're picking up the buck.
Arsenal Football Club. And it's all right saying, oh, yeah, but he's got us back competing again. He's got us into second. You know, we've just fallen short. And we've just fallen. The fact is, we've fallen short. We haven't won nothing. And this guy needs to deliver. He's had money. He's on big wages. He needs to deliver. And I thought the summer just gone. I thought this season was his kind of make or break season. But next
I'd say that for the whole club, man. I actually thought they might actually just get it sorted.
Absolutely, DJ. And I think next season, I mean, if you thought this season he was on the ropes, next season he's going to be half hanging out. Because if he doesn't win, bro, honestly, if he doesn't win a trophy next season, I don't see how anyone can stand by this man.
They will find a way, though. They will find a way, though, because
context.
You think about this year's conditions. Conditional. The biggest conditional was, come on, it was always us and City. We can't let Liverpool walk away with this league. If Liverpool walk away with this league, then he's gone. There's no way. Even if I love Arteta, he can't keep his job when Liverpool won.
Happy birthday to the gaffer, though, man. To be fair to him, but go ahead,
well, Liverpool are going to win this league. They're going to realise that, you know, they lost the League Cup final to Newcastle. They still got to a final. They lost to a very good team, but they're still a good team themselves. And they got a Merseyside derby to motivate themselves for, and they got a league to win. and because that's what Liverpool are about. It's the league and the Champions League, but mostly the league. So at the end of the day, what's going to be the obstacle next year? Right now, the buzzwords are injuries to key players, and that we're always good in the second half of the season. Next season, it'll be something else. So they're desperate for him to do well, Mikel. That's the bottom line.
Yeah,
I'm desperate for him to do well because it means our club does better. But I think there needs to be fair question marks over everyone now, man. It's annoying.
Yeah. I mean, getting back to the transfers as well, though. I mean, I as much as there's players that have got to go out the door, there's one player that I would probably offer a year's extension to, and that would be Thomas Partey. I think we need probably him at the club for another season. Because it looks like Zubamendi's been hijacked. It looks like he's
it looks like we've been robbed.
He was never coming.
Was it the Real Madrid?
Never coming.
Ironically, yeah.
Hey, your salesman, he's got a nice little question for you. Any of you guys know the players personally, or is your opinion based on what you would do if you're a player? Well, we know football, and we've seen it happen at the club before, and we know players' behaviour, mate. So, and players have behaved like that. Don't think that we're just making his opinion because we think, that a player, we want Saliba to go to Real Madrid, or we want Gabriel Magalhaes to go to Saudi. We're realistic. Some of us working in private sector, some people might even run businesses. We're not stupid. We've seen it be done before. We're only based our opinion on repeated behaviour and how the club we love work. Now you think,
I'm removing emotion from it as well, really, because there's going to come a point where these players are going to have to.
And as well as that, there's also 150 years at least of experience in watching Arsenal on this channel right now.
But it's realism. And what's you funny? Where have you been in the last 20 years?
You have to face back.
You've seen clubs, you've seen your best players leave and wave us off and go into the sunset. You've seen Van Persie leave and go to a direct rival. You've seen Fabregas push for a move. You've seen
Henry as well.
You've seen Adebayor being told by the club, either you get lost or we're going to put you in the third team. So that's why he was sold to play things. So I don't know. It's not as if we're talking as if we made this all up. This is what we've seen in football.
And we wouldn't. Why would we want to say this about our players at our football club, especially the Deluded, the Sakas, etc.? It's not making sense.
It's been going on at Arsenal for years. It's a trend that's been going on for Arsenal for years. The only problem is, in my book, the only problem is whatever players now leave and whatever players come in, is this manager good enough to get them over the line?
Exactly.
Me, I've been saying it, and I said it on screen from day one when I came on the streams. It's a rebuild within a rebuild, and that's what we're doing again. Whether you like it or not, we're rebuilding. We are rebuilding.
We fought for a title for 3 years. The vast majority of these lot been together for 5. It is a bit of a rebuild.
Players are going out the door, and we've got to get new players in. Now, me personally, I think we should be looking at the manager rather than the players, because I think whoever comes in, I still don't think this manager's good enough to get the best out of them. I really don't.
And remember as well, I think I can probably speak for all of us here as well, is there's never any agenda against Mikel Arteta or anything. I believe we're all honestly articulating what we see with our eyes. We're going to the games, whether we're going to the games, we've been watching them home on telly or whatever. All we're doing is just seeing what we've got, adding that with the experience that we've had watching Arsenal, adding with facts that we see. Because on my show, I always present things with absolute facts. I present it on the screen just so people can see what I'm saying ain't absolute nonsense. That's all we're doing. I promise every single person in this chat, I wish I could come on here with my chest out and go, Arsenal are the best team in the league.
Exactly. I wish because there's a flip side. If everything was great, we'd be saying everything's great.
Oh man,
you're fair people. But it's half good, half terrible stagnation.
I was positive. I mean, when we finished Man City, I mean, I was absolutely gutted, and I thought, we're falling short again. But I honestly believed we would have done the right thing in the summer. I thought
this has been the worst year of the 3 we fought for a title.
I thought it was going to be massive, and I thought, okay.
Never going to happen. Never.
Yeah, I was naive. I thought, we're going to move a bit serious because we're so close.
No, it was never going to happen.
Yeah, we didn't.
And then when I saw
it wouldn't happen. It's two
No,
reasons.
when I saw it, I thought, no. This is we're back to square one.
You think the things that you think of the things we've done in the last 2 years. We spent massive. We've spent north of £200 million to get 3 players in. I always thought
that's why I think I lied to myself based on what Kenny's about to say.
I always thought that the year afterwards, that for us to spend a significant amount of money again, someone had to go. And when I saw the players that left, I started laughing. I went, geez, you know what I thought? And then there's kids watching, but I thought we were French connections. No, I just thought we were French connections. The reason I say I thought we were French connections, because I thought they're gonna sell a Medellin. They're gonna sell they're not gonna make a sacrifice. Therefore, they're only gonna get squad players, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
I've seen it so many times that if you spend big, a club at Arsenal, you got to have to, make an outlay. And what was happening, Mikel Arteta, because Arsenal got close last season, and I put that in inverted commas, and because everyone, thinks that we're a top, really good side, and we are a good side on our day, he couldn't afford to make a sacrifice. He couldn't afford to get a Martinelli out. He couldn't afford to get one of his defenders out because they got less close. And he thought, right, I've got this team here. All I need is a bit of fine tuning.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have to sell so the board are going to probably have to go up to Mikel Arteta and said, are you sure? He said, yeah, all right. Are you sure this is going to be enough? And Mikel Arteta, with his pride, well, I know it. He will know it's not enough, but he would say, you know what? Yeah, let's go again because we got really close. We got a third year's experience. Little did he know that Liverpool already thinking, yeah, let's just give it a go. He didn't realise that he didn't take into account the psychological trauma of not winning the league the last 2 seasons.
And that's the annoying thing. The one thing I'll say with the players, they haven't down tools yet. But if they were to do that at any point, then I think Arteta, beyond the obvious reasons, needs to go. One love for the super chats as well, B. You're far too kind.
Yeah, no, I at the moment the players are still all invested in what's going on with Arteta, and at the moment the players are, I can honestly say I've not seen. I've seen drop-offs in performance, but I've not really seen them down in tools. I've not really seen them not playing for the shirt. There is a couple of games where they've kind of gone through the process, but
you get that in the season anyway, though, didn't you?
Yeah, you get that in the season. I mean, I haven't seen that from the players. Most of the players that go out do try their best. Sometimes they lack in a little bit of quality doing that, but. On the whole, I still think that they are all behind Arteta, and while that is in place, there's always hope. But and if we do bring in the right players, and we manage to keep the likes of Gabriel and stuff like that, like Magas, then who knows? It could be our season next season, but.
You just don't know.
We have to get this summer right, though, man. Like,
we don't
right.
just going to say, DG, bro. I'm just going to say, if we enter this January transfer window and we have anywhere near what resembles a Mikel Merino, Raheem Sterling, and Calafiori summer,
none of that game changing.
Then I'm starting to get worried then because if them esque sort of signings, we're making them 3 signings of that ability, of that whatever, and we're knocking in September, and that's what we're coming into. I'm worrying where this club's getting.
But I think that's
difference makers are needed.
Summer window then will creep into the players, because at the moment the players are behind the process of what's going on.
Yeah.
If you can still call it a process.
Do you know?
But I think
we know one player's behind them. We know one player's behind them. It's the adopted Englishman. He's behind him.
but however, if
you love it.
If the right players don't come through that door in the summer, then I think you might start seeing a few players kind of go, hang on a minute, where are we going here?
Do you think they get into that already? Because I remember, I always say this every stream. It's like Declan Rice in January. He was like, I'm sure they're going to bring in players because Tierney's playing left wing. Aren't they thinking a bit like that? Like, we need a bit of quality now. We've all played football, whether it's Sunday League or whatever. When your players are not good enough. Aren't they getting to that? And maybe even the gaffer as well, but the gaffer's different because you spent money. At the end of the day, over 200 million, sorry, has been spent on what? Declan Rice, Marino, and Kai Havertz for that midfield. But surely they're getting to that stage now.
Yeah. I believe so. I mean, it could be. But, I mean, with the Rice thing, he's just got to sort out where his best position is. I mean, he's... You know,
I can see that.
At the moment, he's been there and everywhere. He's been used for this. He's been used for that. I still think when he come to the club, I still think he thought he was going to play alongside Granit Xhaka at one point. You know, and that didn't happen. You know, and you got to remember this guy's
another player.
this guy's been used all round the park. I mean, this guy got a partnership going with.
We definitely miss Xhaka.
Do we?
At this moment in time,
I reckon so.
I remember we missed Granit Xhaka.
One good season, Xhaka. One good season.
When he from that season, we missed that version of Xhaka.
That 2022-23, we missed him and Declan Rice together, give or take with Partey. I'm with that.
But Declan Rice at the 6, though, Kenny.
Yeah, in the 6.
Kenny loves Declan Rice. Really, he's just giving him a hard.
What can I say, mate?
Kenny's making.
How can you not love Declan Rice?
The adopted Englishman. How can you not love the adopted Englishman?
Listen, Rice with the right partner and in the right position under the right manager. This guy's good flat.
Facts.
He's missed a trick, Mikel Arteta, massively, and I think like me and Kenny will forever disagree on this because I don't think Rice is an 8 and Kenny does. I think he's a 6. Kenny doesn't. I actually think Mikel Arteta's missed a massive trick and not playing him as a double pivot 4-2-3-1 because I reckon they'd work fantastically together in that mould.
You play him a double pivot. This is a team that you want to play attacking football. Is it double pivot a bit negative when you play a double pivot?
Yeah, but you haven't got players out of position though. Then do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Declan Rice, he started as a centre back, and you can see it when I first see him from my seat when I was sat up top on my upper tier in my North Bank. I was sat there and I could read it because I used to play centre back, and I used to think, oh, it's exactly where he's running. He's cutting out them dangers when the ball's going in. He's acting like a centre back. He's not like, and what you're saying about left 8, why I don't think that's his best position. It's almost like he's not a central attacking midfielder. He just didn't quite cut it, so he's come back. He was a centre back who went forward, and you can see he's naturally just is defensive. And for us,
to be there to do the dirty work.
That's not for left 8 for me.
Let's rephrase it. His best position is number 6. If we say his best position is number 6, can he play number 6 though? Can he play to the modern requirements of number 6, which are number 6 in modern.
You're going to mention receiving the ball and all that.
But Thomas Partey next to him done that because he's excellent back to goal. He can spin and make the pass.
Can he do the CDM?
Just make the 8 and Odegaard undertake that. We've got an inverted left back as well. We could hide that in Rice's game.
Number 6, just like sitting down.
Look how Tuchel used him for England the other day. That's how we got used him.
You forget when he signed last year, when Declan Rice signed last year, Partey was injured for most of the season, and
we were saying only Rodri's better than him.
Man of the match. He was playing in that 6, and then he was playing in a double pivot with Jorginho, and he was good.
Was he playing
Some of Rice's best performances in an Arsenal shirt have actually been in the 6 when you look back at it.
You could have Rice in the 6, Odegaard in the 8, because I don't think Odegaard's a 10.
Yeah, and we've got the inverted left back. We could hide those fragilities in Rice's game. Look how Tuchel used him for England.
And get, you know what I mean? I think once...
The reason I asked this question is that Mikel Arteta's asking those questions. Because if Mikel Arteta thought he was a number 6 and could play at CDM, he'd be playing him there now. So it's not just me; it's the managers.
We all get that. 100%. That's why we're having this conversation.
I'll tell you what: if Gabriel goes, he could try him at centre half.
£105 million for a player that you thought was going to be an upgraded party to play at centre half. It's like
that's not Rice's fault, man.
Defense. Rice can dominate the midfield.
We have to accept Rice for what he is.
Rice can dominate the midfield. He carried West Ham for years. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I'm all for Rice at the 6. Yeah. I reckon he can do it. Especially, like I said, with Thomas Partey being so good with back to goal, being able to make that, drop the shoulder or receive the ball, wriggle out of a tight position and progress the ball forward. I think it was a match made in heaven.
If Rice had a quality
I'm not
number 8,
manager.
if Rice had a real good attacking number 8, a good sort of box to box midfield player alongside him.
DJB, we're doing it again. That's what we did with Mesut Ozil.
No, that's disingenuous. It's not the same, man. It's not the same. It's not the same.
I know what you're saying, Kenny. I know what you're saying. See,
ain't the same.
You're starting him off. Kenny's on one today, isn't you? You're in the
people have been giving Odegaard some stick, and rightly so. He hasn't performed this season. But however, we've got a manager that's not prepared to change things. We've got a manager that just he's happy to keep players in their position and not and stagnating them. And this is what happens with Odegaard. Get him out of there. Get him out of there. Try something different. He's had plenty of games where he could have tried something different. 7-1 up in the first leg against PSV. He could have tried different things there. He could have brought on the young lad off the bench, Butler, but he didn't try it. He's got to try. He's got to start getting the best out of the players, and that's my biggest worry. There's a lot of players that are kind of falling off the end of a cliff under him, So he's got to mix it up a little bit. He's got to try something different.
We definitely need to freshen up. If that's the case with a lot of the players, we need to freshen up. Just fresh. If you can't freshen up the personnel, freshen up the way you play.
Yeah, exactly.
Or both.
Yeah,
we've been
or both. Yes,
change the formation, change the way you play.
You're nice.
Yeah, well, it would be. I'm hungry. Refresh both, isn't it? But we're all sort of hoping that's what Berta's coming in to do, isn't it? Really, boys. To be fair, to just come in straight away and hopefully just be that freshen up in terms of transfers. I don't know how heavily he'll be involved in the tactical side. You'd have thought that been left down to Mikel Arteta, of course. But in terms of players that he want in, I just sort of hope that. And this was a little worry. I said this on my show last night. I just sort of hope that you see all this narrative of Arsenal's got the Zubimendi deal done. We've got the Sesko deal done. And the Williams. They're all the free players that are almost set in stone in terms of what the media is saying. Is that what Berta wants? So if he's coming in, is it sort of basically to go, all right, well, these are the 3 that we're having. Any other ideas? Or is Berta going to come in and basically go, well, yeah, cheers for your little list there, Mikel Arteta, but I'm here now, mate, and I'll be setting those signings. That's what I'm sort of hoping for, him to come in. And
you think that will be the case, though, Aaron? Because surely it's too late in the day, like for him to do that. If he's joining in March, the planning for summer's already there. Yeah. Maybe outgoings he gets that, but I don't know.
I think with Berta, I think he's going to get his feet under the table first. I don't think he's going to come in and rock too many boats at the time. I think he's going to give Arteta some leeway.
JB.
Yeah, I think eventually what Aaron says will happen. I think with Berta coming in
next year.
Next summer FC though.
Yeah, it fully is that. That's just the God's honest truth, I think.
Yeah, by the January window, I think then you'll see Berta come into his own. But until then, I think this summer he'll just come in. He'll look at what's gone wrong. He'll look at the money that's been spent. He'll look at this and he'll look at that, and he'll report back to the Cronkies, because I think that's going to be his main role at the moment. And then round about Christmas time, then you'll start seeing Berta thinking, well, hang on a minute, this ain't happening. We're lying. If we're lying top 4, we're not nowhere near the top. Then I think Berta will come into his own. So I think he'll give Arteta a bit of leeway. However, one thing that Arteta will find out very, very quickly, he's not going to be dealing with a novice. With Edu, it was the blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
Edu was inexperienced. Arteta was first managerial job, big job.
I think he almost bullied him, didn't he? I reckon Arteta to Edu at times.
So 100%.
What Arteta will find out very, very quickly is, hang on a minute, some of the things that I used to get away with Edu, I'm not quite getting away with this guy. This guy knows his stuff. And it's like everyone, when you meet someone with vast experience in something, you kind of think, oh, hang on, I better wait and see what happens here,
I better not piss about.
Yeah, you check yourself out, didn't you? You know, you let them lead the way, and I think that's the good thing about Berta is that he's so experienced. Arteta's going to have to kind of, you know, just watch his steps a little bit. So that's going to be a good thing. But
do you think you have the voice to do that, though?
Eh?
Do you think you have the voice to do that? Like, because I look at when we signed Raya, Calafiori, Merino, and I'm sure Kai Havertz, but like we signed all of them, and you read the articles on the Athletic, it says everybody wasn't agreed. Arteta pushed for it. Now it worked with Raya. It's been mixed success with the others. If they have another scenario like that, it seems like the club bet on Mikel Arteta. Do you not think Berta is going to have the authority from the Cronkies to say, you know, forget that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
We'll find that. We'll find that he's still at the club in a year's time.
Yeah.
But I bought him another year.
You got to look at it from a business point of view.
One more year.
If the Cronkies wanted to go down the cheap option with the sporting director, they'd have got someone that's linked to the club. They'd have got someone like Rosicky or something like that. But they've gone to the best man available. So this guy's coming in on with his experience. They've gone for the best in class. So I honestly think that he will have a very strong voice on signings and who comes in.
Otherwise, what's the point in him coming in, though?
Exactly.
He must have had that preliminary conversation between the Cronkies and Berta to basically go, am I going to be Arteta's bitch or am I not? Like, do you know what I mean? Basically, what one am I? Do you know what I mean? Like, have I got this power or power? I can't see Berta taking, if Cronkies go, well, you know, we will have final say. Berta's going, all right, no worries. Thank you very much for the flight over here, but I'm going to go back to Italy, or Spain.
The only problem is we've got a manager, unfortunately, Arteta, that's bigger than the football club. That's the problem.
You know why he's bigger than the football club? It's the fans who've done it. It's the fans who back him.
The fans have made him bigger than
little songs
cult following
about him, and it's the media who've made him bigger than the club. Because as long as you've got people like Joey Cole coming out with
why is he even doing that?
Yeah, but that's Joey Cole saying, look where Arsenal were and look where Arsenal now. As long as you hear that narrative, Mikel Arteta will always have a job for life. I mean, it's not a case of normally managers like who are going through an unsuccessful patch. Normally you keep them because of what they won before. But when you've got a manager whose basically main barometer of success is how he's improved stuff, we're in a very like.
And we're doing him a favor as much as they make out that he's doing us a favor. This is a sweet gig to have as a new manager, a relative new manager. You've been here for 5-6 years. For me, with Arteta, it's getting over the line, and every year that question is getting bigger and bigger. Like there's 3 years including now. There's a lot of 3 different years. There's a lot of explaining. We have not got over the line in the league. Champions League, I'll cut you a bit of excuses, but we ain't done it in that. And then the league and FA Cups, we have not done it. Like if we're that good and he's that good and our players are that good, I just want a trophy. Like I know I can't be lazy like that, but come on now, we spent money. Our club record transfer is Declan Rice now. Like, yeah, we've got new problems.
Let's not forget. You before Mikel Arteta came to the club, and it was in really dire straits. I still think we had better performers in certain, especially up top, and arguably up top than we do have now. Remember when Mikel Arteta was supposed to have repaired the damage, where Aubameyang was scoring goals, arguably. Mesut Ozil was still a massive, massive name in the football club. So we don't have players of that ilk. Now, obviously, when we were doing our squad yesterday, the best ever Arsenal players, I couldn't get Aubameyang in the squad. I couldn't even get Mesut Ozil in the squad. I even said something controversial, and that I think a couple of players are better than Aubameyang.
Yeah.
Name names.
All right. Nicholas Anelka's better than Aubameyang.
100%.
Yeah.
Manuel Adebayor was better than Aubameyang.
100%. I'll give you that.
I'm on the fence with that one. But I can see both sides.
Yeah, I can't lie. I think about it.
I
was on the fence with that, but you know what?
As much as you like Adebayor, you think about it now. Anelka, if Anelka had actually fallen in love with football instead of being a money grabbing bitch, right?
Okay.
I think Nicholas Anelka could have been one of our best ever striker. He could have.
We might not have never have known what Thierry Henry was if that worked.
Yeah.
Ability,
Yeah.
he had a lot, but for some reason he didn't have the temperament to work hard. I look at Adebayor, and I think on his day he could have been better than Didier Drogba had he not been distracted with all sorts of nonsense. Nonsense in his head. I can't say that. I think Aubameyang, very good player as he is, I think Aubameyang was at a certain level. But when I think about how far Aubameyang can go, can he do what Anelka can do? No.
Anelka's better than a lot of people, though, man.
Especially at that age. I mean, come on, when he burst on the scene in '98, what he was doing.
Anelka's better than so many players.
It was ridiculous.
But even at Aubameyang's level, we still haven't found a replacement.
Yeah.
And this is,
despite what you think, exactly. We still haven't found the replacement for Aubameyang.
Lacazette still starts for this football club right now if he was here.
I was going to say, he could still start for this football club right now, and he was another player Arteta couldn't get the best out of. Look what he done to Lacazette. Before Lacazette came to the club, look what man was doing. He comes to the club, and look what Arteta turned him into.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
he was another player that just fell off the cliff under this manager. This manager's got a record of players not going in the right direction under this manager. And
he needs to change that, man. He needs to change that narrative.
I don't know about you boys. How I would change that narrative is the second, and I literally mean the second that the clock ticks 1 second past 12 o'clock on the 1st of June, activate the Victor Gyökeres release clause. Get it over and done with. It's the first thing you do.
Yeah, because we're not getting his
June. Just activate it. Take 2 weeks to negotiate with him. Get him in. I know people will say, there'll be sort of, whether he come, whether it suit our style of play. I don't believe that if he signs on a 5-year deal, Arteta will be there for the duration of it. I want a good, prolific, proven striker. And Gyökeres is just that. You don't have to mess around with all of the club transfers. You can just start your summer how we should have done last season. Start your summer by 1st of June in Gyökeres. Take 2 weeks to negotiate with him. Done. There you go. Halfway through June, now you're looking at where's the rest of our squad. We've got our number one striker in. We've got our number one priority in. And let's just concentrate on it now. That's how I think I'd go down it. But do you know what I mean? It just seems to make sense. You ain't got no messing around to do with Newcastle. We're going to bump. Newcastle are going to go, if you're going to pay 105 million for Declan Rice 2 years ago, you're going to pay 150 for our top striker. Let's get that right. And we're going to go no. And we're probably going to waste a month trying to negotiate it. Do I want Sesko at 10, 15 million quid cheaper? Do you know what I mean? No, it's a waste of time. Just get him in first of June.
This is my worry. This is my worry with the Isak. We could be wasting valuable time trying to get the Isak
flirting with him,
and then it could fall through. And then whilst we're putting all our eggs in one basket trying to get Isak, Gyökeres is signing for someone else. Sesko, who I don't want, could be signing to someone else. And then we end up with
we should have got him last year.
My point exactly.
Yeah, we should have got Isak last year. I mean,
but Sesko, it was already agreed.
I still think for 55 million, 60 million, go and get a release clause for Harry Kane. I mean, I know.
100%.
I don't think he's brave enough to do it. I don't think Kane's brave enough to do that. I love him, but I don't think he's brave enough to make that move, man.
You don't know until you try.
Also true, D.
He'd endear himself, though, wouldn't he? To the,
he would, and he was an academy product here, but I don't know if he's brave enough.
Can you imagine? Kenny touched on the armory. Can you imagine if Kane was at the club? The amount of shirts that would go out to.
I'll be buying merch then, mate. I'll tell you that. I'll be buying that.
Yeah, then I'd be like, you know what? We're serious. That's an audacious attempt to fair play Arsenal. Fair play. Because he's in his 30s as well. Time moves fast as well. So that would tell me win now mode.
Walk down the Seven Sisters with Kane 14 on the back, yeah? Cool. See how many yards you get.
Hey, you know what? I could just see the marketing opportunity. They'll have a picture of him celebrating the Invincibles.
Exactly.
When he was about 11 years old. And they go, this is now. And then I'll have him 20 years later in an Arsenal shirt. Welcome home, Harry.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
And to rub it in, we'll have a statue of him outside the Emirates when holding the Premiership trophy or something. Can you imagine it? No.
Oh yeah.
But no. I think this Isak is really all. This Isak is. I can't see him being at Arsenal. I really can't see.
Too many dominoes have to fall for it to happen. So forget
I think it's all a lot of media hype, and it's all a lot of thing that's
got 3
going
years
around.
on his contract.
It's selling at the moment. It's selling at the moment. The Isak thing. It's the main thing. Oh, the Isak done. It's never a done deal.
I think we're going to get Sesko, if I'm brutally honest. I just think it makes too much sense.
He'll come next season. Yeah, if we offer him more, if we sell a player, he'll get the money. He'll definitely come. I think it's a player that Mika. But the only problem we have with a striker is 2 words: Kai and Havertz.
Yeah.
We know we're going to see him in midfield a bit next season, man. Because we're talking about signing a midfielder and the striker. Kai's still going to have to play. Like he still has to justify that. Whether we rate him or not, that's 200 grand a week.
The manager thinks he fits into his system.
That as well.
How's he coming back?
I don't mind Kai as well, but like we need better. I wouldn't have bought him, but we're at with him.
Yeah. No. He's. We all know he's definitely not a striker. And,
or a midfielder.
Can I say something? I don't think a lot of people. I'll probably get a little bit of stick for. To be fair, because it's against something that I've sort of complained about in the past. But I would actually bear with me, people. I would actually rip up Gabriel Jesus' contract, get rid of him, and sign Jonathan David on a free. I would.
Yeah.
Give him
David would be a market
20
opportunity,
million,
to be fair.
and just go get away. By the time you're fit, you've got 18 months left on your deal. We're giving you over £1 million a month. Get away, sign Jonathan David on a free, bring the Yokerez in, and just move on from that stage of thing. That's what I'd do. Just go.
Do you think that's harsh for someone who's already down on their luck, though? Being injured, being devil's advocate.
Yeah, but I'm not here to be down on his luck. Bless him on his 265k a week wages. I'm down on my luck, spending 1,500 quid to go watch Arsenal and taking time away from my 2 kids.
Has he really ripped up any trees when he was fully fit, though? That's the next question.
We've had 3 months in 3 years.
Been prolific for us. Let's be honest. He's had 1 or 2 flash in the pans.
He had a great 6 months, and then
he's looked good. But on a consistent basis, has he done it since we signed him? I don't think he has. I think he's been one of our flops, to be honest. I don't think he's been much different. If you look at Jesus and players that we've signed, I mean, do you know what? It's forgotten my mind. How can he forget my mind? £74 million signing, the winger. Pepe. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Pepe.
Minor.
I mean, if you look at Jesus and Pepe, is there a lot of difference?
Yeah.
Well, Pepe actually stayed fit and had more output.
Pepe's got more standout moments, to be fair with you.
Let's be honest.
Numbers up there.
Jesus
is a bigger flop than Pepe.
Who killed him, though? Who killed him?
Oh, yeah. I totally get that's another point. Yeah, I totally get that.
Saka killed Pepe.
Yeah.
I was going to go the manager more, but I totally get it.
I also believe I was going to say manager as well.
Yeah. I'm talking about in terms of output between Jesus and Pepe. I mean,
Pepe's numbers are better.
Yeah, the numbers are. Yeah, they're
and the standout moments. He's won us an FA Cup. I've seen him slap 2 free kicks in. I got a lot of time for Jesus, but end of the day, we shouldn't have bought him. And actually making content, Gabriel Jesus was one of the worst kind of times for me because I said it's not going to work. Like, I get the fallacy of him being the number 9 and him playing and getting regular football. But if we want to be like City, we need to act like City. And I simply say that to say this. He was a squad player for them. So why are we going to take him and make him a first team regular? It's not making sense.
Zinchenko's a squad player.
Zinny the same as well. Keep them as squad players. Don't make them guys that are going to play 30 to 38 games because they'll do well. But ultimately, the ball is getting over the line here. We'll get here. And we're going to have these same old conversations that us four are saying. Injuries are finished, Jesus, like this comment said, but it just didn't work out, man. First 6 months, amazing, but
no, definitely. But it's another, as Zinchenko's another one, isn't it?
Another, great for a year or so.
Really give him a run in the same in midfield because every time I've seen him come into midfield, he's looked quite comfortable and he's looked tidy, And I'm thinking to myself, well, why hasn't he had a chance in midfield?
Arteta's desperate. That's why he's playing Zini in midfield. Like that's why he's doing all of these things. Like,
it's by default. This, as I said, a lot of the things this manager does is by default. It's not planned out. It's not because he's like looked at it and thought, that could work. You know, Ben White at right back was by default. You know,
Yeah.
Saka ESR default, MLS Noneri default. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's another thing. You could argue these young players would have always come up, but they've really come up now because of the injuries. And credit to them, they've taken their chances. But Arteta does play the senior kind of game.
Well, you think as well, you know, he had a perfect opportunity when Saka was fit and Odegaard was out to play for Nwaneri in his actual position, and he didn't. It was only when both of them were out that he had to play him.
Exactly.
That's the point and case done there. That's that. What more can you say? It's facts.
That's the double-edged sword with Arteta, is that he's so stubborn, which has its benefits at times and has got us to second, but then it's also crippling us. Like, it's like a double-edged sword in that you know what he's going to do. We're quite predictable, but then also you know how predictable we are. That's why I think Arsenal, we kind of engineer our own issues, if I'm brutally honest, man. And it all comes, for me, this season all comes back to the summer. You had January, and then all this other stuff that is valid is all in between, but you start as you mean to go on, man. And I think summer was a missed opportunity.
Massive. It all comes back down. Me and DJB and the boys say it all the time. That was such a pivotal summer transfer window, the one just gone, because, you know, we finished 2 points behind Manchester City, and you just thought yourself at the time, hindsight's a wonderful thing, as you say, you know, it's 2020. Yep. You know, you're sitting there and you're thinking, all we need maybe is a striker, another winger, and maybe another midfielder, you know, and then we're good.
Touch-ups.
And yeah, that's it, you know, and we just didn't do it. And there we go. Look what happens. You know, it pivoted the other way, didn't it? You know?
Yeah. I mean, exactly. I just can't believe when he looked at bringing in the two defensive players, Marino and Calafiori. There was nothing. The defence, there wasn't really a lot wrong with it.
I don't get the Marino.
We all knew what the problem was, and it proves this season there's not been really a lot wrong with the defence. You know, nothing really, but to go and sign two defensive players when we clearly that's not what we needed was just a massive missed opportunity. Craziness. Madness.
Yeah, it's also, to add on to that as well, you know, you sit there and you think, you know, you've let go, all right, they might not be the best of the best, but you've let go ESR, Eddie Nketiah, Fabio Vieira, and Maurice Nelson. 4 attackers you've let go. It's not just that you haven't signed any attackers, you've let 4 go.
Yeah,
and you know, when you start adding that into it, it sounds even more crazy.
But does it come back to what Kenny said, though? For all of that, as much as I want to ask questions about Arteta, does it come back to what Kenny said in that clearly we're trying to do the self-sufficient thing and we have to manage? It's a bit irrelevant from a sporting front. Like, does it all kind of piece together? Because I think Kenny made a good point, and I'm seeing it now. I don't know. I'm just asking you.
I get that, but also it's a case of are you capable of hiring the right players? And I'm looking at Marino and Calafiori, and I'm looking at him thinking I can see a Gyökeres release clause there.
I'm with you, though. Like,
do you know what I mean?
We need a striker. I can't deal with not having a striker after this summer. I'm not on it. Like, we need to address the areas or actively. I don't want to hear we tried, powder dry. There's no players on the market. We've been hearing this for years. And if nothing, as I always say, if nothing changes, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be a massive summer for Arsenal Football Club going forward. This is going to be a massive summer, not only for this manager, for whoever potentially comes in the next 2-3 seasons. This summer window is going to pave the way to see where this club's at.
Yeah.
You know, and it could be really costly for the potential manager coming in. If the right signings are not made, then yeah, it's going to be massive.
My last thing for you lot then, our boy Bukayo Saka apparently is back next Tuesday against Fulham.
Not for me. Not for
me. What are you thinking?
There's got to be an. Go on, Kenny. You go first. Go on,
you go on this one, matey.
Yeah, I'm sorry, people, but nah. I'm sorry. I know how much it means to you guys, and how much it means to the team. But at the end of the day, you're talking about a grade 3 tear, where in essence you should be really out for the end of the season. You've got to have if you there's going to have to be short-term pain for the long-term gain. You think about it. It'd be suicide for Saka to even consider this. You think about it. Next season, we're going to be in the Champions League. We're going to have another opportunity to play in the Champions League next season and probably go one better. A semi-final or even get to a final. And then he's got the World Cup. I know a lot of people say, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. But this is the guy's career.
It's his health as well, really.
Yeah.
can't
We got
flog
to
a
do your
player.
care, mate.
You know, and if you want to go by
Facts.
footballing reasons as well, when you play Real Madrid, you need a goalkeeper and 10 outfield players, all 100% fit. You can't carry players.
No.
You can't carry the guy and just think, oh, let's let the Real Madrid left back and let Vinny Jr. just run past Saka, and we'll just kind of cover him, all us 9 men, when Saka can't even run back and do his job, because that's what he's going to be required to do. He's going to have to spend a lot of time without the football, where he's been part of that sort of that low block. He's being part of that double market on Vinny Jr. on a grade 3 tear that is not fully fit. Come on, really?
No, facts, Kenny.
Really? Because that's what you're asking him to do. You're going on like you just give him the ball and he just goes in, puts the ball in the top corner, substitute him and get him off. This is Real Madrid. We're not going to have a lot of the ball. He's going to have to work as hard as a player who's 100% fit. It's a no-no. And even against Fulham,
They're screaming 20 minutes at best, if I'm honest.
Fulham are going for European football. They're going to test the guy.
Everton away. Do you reckon they're going to care about him?
Poor.
Kenny,
And
do you know what I
tackling
mean? That's going to be a battle.
week in, week out as well.
Yeah.
So no, he's not fit. No matter how much you like your favourite player, he's not. The only time we should have our favourite player playing for us is when he's 100% fit and he could do the things that Saka does, which is win us football matches.
Yeah, no, in fact, Kenny, we've said it on streams, me and you, and we're both in the same camp here. This guy needs to recover. He's played a lot of games in his young career. You got to remember the build-up. You got to remember the build-up to the injury is because of breakdown, is because of fatigue, is because of being overplayed. For England, for Arsenal, week in,
250 appearances for our
Euro Championship, week in, week out, World Cup qualifiers, you name it. This guy from a young age has been playing high intensity and carrying a football club 9 out of 10 times, on his shoulders. So this is the reason why he broke down in the first place, because he was mismanaged. He hasn't been managed right, and he's played a hell of a lot of games. Now, for me, I think it's more about the manager wanting him to play against Madrid rather than the player. I think the manager is so desperate to get some sort of performance out of this team this season, and it's his last chance now of winning silverware, that he's desperate to have anyone on the pitch that he feels fit enough. And this guy is not fit enough. He's not going to be fit. Nowhere near it. And to throw him in against Madrid, which, let's face it, even with a fit Saka, we'll probably go out over 2 legs anyway.
It's a tall order.
Yeah, it's a tall order. And I don't think Saka, he's missed too many games, and the Real Madrid game has come too close to
maybe if it was the semi-final, when it DJB,
if it was the semi-final and it was a couple of more weeks or a couple of more months down the line, bring him on, let him see how he goes. But to put him in this particular game, it's too close. The guy has not had enough game time minutes to get back to full fitness, and I think you'll be just throwing him in. I just think you'll be killing him.
What if Saka's the one pushing it though?
Keep him. Well, I don't think a player's got that say. And if you've got proper physios, and which I'm sure Arsenal have in place, he has to go by the advice of the medical team. He'll want to push it because it's one of the biggest games to play in. Every player is going to want to play against Real Madrid in a quarter final of a Champions League. It doesn't, whether you're fit or not, that's just going to go out your head. You just want to play football. Every player, but the club has got to protect him on this, and I'm with Kenny on this. I think next season we need a fit Saka from day one. We need him buzzing with the new signings, the new setup. We need a fit Saka going into next season. And they're going to want to sell new shirts, so Saka's going to need to be rather than just pushing him in. Because if he breaks down now, you're not going to get him at the start of the season. And that's the big risk, because you are likely, I don't want to wish bad on Saka, but when you've had a long-term hamstring injury, it is quite likely there's going to be setbacks, or you're going to get those. Keep him out. It's the nature of the game, unfortunately. the Real Madrid game has come round too quick for Saka, unfortunately. Yeah. It's come round too quick. It's come round way, way too quick. If it was the semi-final, final, then okay. But right now, what are we talking about? A week on Tuesday? And this guy has not played any minutes competitively against one of the top teams. Can you imagine the adrenaline that's going to be pumping?
Yeah.
In Emirates Stadium, first leg against Real Madrid, and you've just come back from a terrible injury like that.
Yeah. Even if he is match fit, bearing in mind he's got to get through the home Fulham game. Yeah. And then he's got the Everton game, which will be a battle in itself.
Yeah.
He then would at least have to make serious minutes to start the Madrid game then. So how many do you give him? Do you give him 30 against Fulham, and then do you give him, 60 against an Everton that are going to kick the crap out of him? They don't care about Saka. They'll kick the crap out of him. And then just say you get to the, let's say for argument's sake, then he starts. It's only a couple of weeks' time. 2 weeks? Just under 2 weeks? 13 days' time till that fixture. He's not got barely any minutes there. He could have setbacks after setbacks. Just because he's done his hamstring, he could have groins here. Or other muscles have been resting. There could be setback after setback. And God forbid he has another setback on that hamstring because he's finished. Look at Michael Owen. He never came back right. And that's only an example. There probably are more examples of players coming back to a good level. But the point is why risk it, especially for this game? And I'm sitting there thinking, let's just say a scenario, right, without Saka, that we get a positive result against Real Madrid, yeah? Say it's even a 0-0 or a 1-0. Hopefully, that'd be fantastic.
It'd be amazing.
Everyone's like, it would be. And everyone's like, all right, well, we'll play at the Bernabeu. Let's not get it twisted. Arsenal will be defending for minimum of 90 minutes in that game. And what will Arteta ask of him? Sort of what Kenny was alluding to. He'll be bombing back up and down. And what will Rudiger do? If he plays first or second, Rudiger will smash straight into him and go, yeah, you come near me, boy, you'll be finished.
Exactly,
that's what Rudiger will do. Any centre-back will do it regardless if you're injured. They'll clump you. And what's Saka going to do then if Rudiger's give him an absolute clumping in 2 minutes in? Saka's going to think, I might actually ruin my career if I go back near Rudiger again. There you go, finished. He's just not ready for it.
I mean, I understand players do have to come back after a long-term injury eventually. I get that. And eventually you have to then just sort of take the risk and put them in. I get that. But I think with Saka and the Real Madrid game, it's too soon. Get some minutes here and now. Bring him off. Put him in a reserve game for a couple of minutes, bring him and just ease him back gently. Just ease him back gently so he's ready to go, hit the ground running next season. The Real Madrid game's too soon, way too soon. Way too soon. I'm not just saying it because it's Real Madrid. You could be playing RB Leipzig and I'd still be saying the same thing. It's way too soon.
Yeah, a bit of tough love if he wants to play or not. Sorry, put your arm around him. Saka, you're 23, 24 years old. If you're as good as you are, and you are, there'll be other opportunities.
Save him from himself.
Yeah. It's a bit of tough love, arm around the shoulder. Sorry, mate. It's for your own good. In 10 years' time, you'll see it.
100%.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. Lads, this has been amazing. I'm a bit upset now that we ended on a mellow note because I'm getting upset about Bukayo Saka, but it's always amazing being here with you lot, man. Let people know they can find you free, man.
Your boy will be back by next season, hopefully fully fit.
Yeah. Everything crossed, man. With some new attacking options to play with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, absolutely right, man. Yeah, I mean, you can find me over at Aaron Talks Arsenal on Instagram, but I've got a YouTube channel as well. Yeah, like and subscribe, man. Join me over there if you like what I say. If not, come over and give me a bit of stick. I'm used to it. I'm 35, not 15. Do you know what I mean? You can come and give me a bit of jip. It's all good. Do you know what I mean? It's all good. I'm a good sport. I'm on Rashid later on his channel. Then I'm on Never a Foul afterwards, and I've got a little something in the morning. I'm gonna have a little try of. But yeah, other than that, now obviously it's always a pleasure. DJB, you know it. We've been
Likewise,
doing a lot together, man. You absolutely
appreciate it.
And Ken, it's always you know it, Ken. It's always a pleasure. I watched him for years, not like a stalker, on the actual internet, nothing weird. And I've always got so much respect. Respect levels for it is absolutely through the roof. And of course, Deluded, man. Thank you very much for having me on your platform,
man. You lot make this show, man. It's the one I look forward to, man.
Quality,
fantastic, man.
No, DJ, thank you very much for having me on. Always a pleasure, my friend. Always a pleasure to work with my
thanks for having me on as well.
Partner in crime, Kenny. I mean, me and him are becoming partners in crime now. We're on so much together.
We must do like 4 shows together weekly.
Yeah, we do, Kenny.
That's me, that's Dan, that's Lee. Who else?
my boy Aaron, who I've been with
Aaron's
since,
always good.
since the start, always
Well,
good.
thank you.
But DJ, yeah, I've been watching you over the years, my friend. It's always a
Appreciate
pleasure to
that,
be on
man.
your channel. It's a top channel. Thank you very much.
Thank
indeed.
you, man.
And look forward
Hey,
to the
DJB,
next.
have you got a ticket for the Real Madrid game, or are you going to be watching it at home?
Who me?
No, DG.
Nah, man, I'm gonna be at Talksport.
You watch it at Talksport. Watch along.
Probably, yeah. Probably, yeah,
Hey,
probably.
Make sure.
How about the Fulham game, though?
Make sure if you order Chinese, you get a Chinese and not some crusty old fried chicken.
To be fair, I normally eat before, but I'll bear that in mind, Kenny,
Hey,
man.
they try to get you to do it for free and offer you all sorts like beer.
No, they get crazy. I did. Therefore, don't do that for free. Yeah, man, if you think I did that for free, I'd rather be on my own YouTube channel.
No, big up, guys. Big up.
Okay, absolutely mad. But people smash the like button. You know, typically I apologize to everyone because I was late and I had to move this to 5 p.m. But typically Wednesdays 4 p.m. and it will set up nicely next week because we got Fulham, so we'll have some other talking points. But Aaron, Kenny, DJB got the most time for you lot. Big up you lot. You lot, bless man. Come on, you Gunners, man.
Bless, guys. All the best.
Come on, Arsenal.
Come on.
Always